All right, so I've always wanted to share this. I've always thought it's extremely important that people own businesses, especially as a minority. It's extremely important that we can start a business to become financially independent, regardless of your daytime job. Now, I'm of the mentality that you spend all your life trying to sell yourself, trying to impress people from when you're young. You have to go to school to make sure that you succeed. Now, why do you want to succeed? Because you want to get a good job, you want to raise a family, and throughout the process of life, you spend your time trying to sell yourself either to a school to accept you, either to your friends to accept you, either to your parents to accept you. Sometimes they have no choice. Either to an employer to employ the skills that you've garnered from going to school. So at every point in your life, you're doing some sort of selling, some sort of sales. Now, but what we fail to realize is those are the skills necessary or that you need to actually effectively start a business. If you're able to think about it that way, then it makes it a lot more easier to start something and succeed in doing it. Now, I tell people when you walk into an interview, many times you're walking with the tails behind legs because you're scared you need that $50,000 job or that $30,000 job. You walk into an interview, you do everything you can to impress the interviewer. Now, what you're doing without realizing it is trying to sell your skills yourself to this interviewer who needs the skills that you possess. So, actually, the very first business you start is you being able to brand yourself, is you being able to be accepted in your community, in your settings, with amongst your peers. It's you being able to succeed to the point where you understand what you feel you own and you can offer to someone. That is the first business you start. Now, if you're able to channel those skills into starting something of yours, then there you are, an entrepreneur. Um, Now, think about it this way. You walk into a job, you're offered a $50,000 job. You're excited. Wow, I got a good job. 60,000, maybe 70,000. I've got a good job. But you haven't thought about it to realize that one, all the time you spend at that job, whether it's 8 hours a day, whether it's 60, 70 hours a week, you're spending investing in someone else's dreams. You're spending investing in someone else's ability to step out of the box, to take risks, to start something, and now has the capability to employ you to come run that business or to come push that dream that they have. So here you are seated 60, 70 hours a week, making millions of dollars for some other person who's paying you 50,000 a year. Now, let's break that down. If you live in New York City like I do, and let's take it that your rent is $2,000. I might be exaggerating. There are people who pay more than that. Now, $2,000 a month for 12 months is $24,000. That's half of your salary gone. We've not talked about taxes. We've not talked about your phone bills. We've not talked about all the other cable bills, clothes, feeding, and every other thing you have to spend. So in the end, you end up living from hand to mouth, from paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes it's not even enough. So you realize that, wow, this awesome job you thought you had, this great job you thought you have, is just getting you by. Meanwhile, you're spending the rest of your life, or you're spending the bulk of the time you have invested in someone else's dream. Now, I have nothing against having a job, but it's extremely important that even while you work, there's that 1 or 2 hours a day that you dedicate to something that you're passionate about, whether it's socially, whatever it is. Think about it. Every single person has a passion. Every single person has an interest in something. And it might not be something you could think about to start a business, but if you settle down and think it through properly, whatever that really interests you or you feel like you're capable of doing and doing very well, Is a service you can offer to someone, is a product you can offer to someone, is an idea you can harness into a business or into a product that you can sell to somebody else. Now, if you can't seem to find anything based on your passions, then look in your environment, look at your environment, look at your experiences, your daily living. There would always be a need. There can always be that something you could think about creating or making easier for some other person to use. That is a business idea. It's all about identifying the problem or identifying a need that you can fulfill, that you can fill. Now, most of our parents, worked 40 years, 30, 40 years, 25 sometimes, and they're retired. Now, this is 25 years of your life dedicated to somebody else. And then at the end of it, someone tells you, well, you know what? Yes, your retirement plan, it's only whatever it is you retired on, you get a percentage of that. Really? After 40 years of my life, this is all I have to go home with every month. Now I have to endure or live on that stuff to make ends meet. Now, not forgetting that inflation will always happen. Nobody cares about your retiree paycheck. Gas will still go up, tolls will still go up, food will still go up. Everything, rent will still go up, regardless of what you're making every month. Now compare that to someone who takes out 10 years of their lives, let's say, while working at this other job and is able to start that small thing. The first year might not be profitable, the second might not even. The first 5 years might not even be profitable. But then you work on it so much, so hard that you hit that wherever it is, I don't know, that spark, that starts to trigger the profits because you've worked on this so much that you have mastered what it takes to succeed. But you will never get there if you never try. And that's the problem we have. Well, I don't have the skill set. Everything is on the internet. You can learn from the internet. There are free classes everywhere. There are so many resources, books, and everything to help you start. And sometimes all it takes is just jumping right into the fire for the fire service to come around. So sometimes you sit and you're like, well, I'm going to burn this house down. No one will take you serious, right? The fire service is never going to show up because you say you're going to burn down a house until you actually burn the house down. Then the fire service comes, to save the day. Now, sometimes that's what life takes. That's what it takes in life. You have to jump right into it for you to maneuver it. Because if you keep waiting for what it will take you to start and what you need, you will actually never start. I'm talking out of experience, right? So it takes guts. It takes guts, willpower, and proper planning. Because, there's some people who work around the clock. But think about it, all the time we invest in television, all the time we invest going to concerts and games, enriching people who are already millionaires. Meanwhile, you're still trying to pay rent and trying to make ends meet. You could spend that time in that simple idea, that half an hour, that 1 hour, 2 hours, always adds up. Always adds up. So it's extremely important, especially for minority youth, black men. It's extremely important that you're able to settle down and start a business. And sometimes starting a business might just be as simple as buying something in bulk and reselling. And if you can't do it, empower people. Go to Costco, go to BJ's, buy something in bulk and retail it. Right? And that is how I had a student once who told me, he always used to buy this pack of M&Ms and he would charge people 25 cents for three M&Ms. And before you know it, he made a lot of money. But because he lacked the financial literacy to save and to plan and to expand, of course, that went bust. But the point is, we all have it within us. And until you're able to, talk yourself into settling down, asking yourself certain questions. If you're not sure, ask people, what do you think I'm interested in? Have someone interview you. You ask yourself questions that helps you identify the things that make sense to you, the things that you're passionate about, the things that you can work on and forget about time. Those are the things you need to be looking at. Find a way to create a business or find a need around those interests, those passions, those talents, those skills, and offer them as services. And there you are, an entrepreneur. So I'm going to stop at that. If you have any questions, you can either email me at, which email do I use now? Email me at relife@relifeinc.org, and it's RELIFE at RELIFEINC.org. Ask me your questions. I'm open and willing to, tell you as much as I can, or point you in the right direction in how to go about doing this. All right? Take care. Peace.